RTD Live Talk, Detroit's number one late night YouTube talk show. Back at it again for a Tuesday edition, the fourth day of the month of May. And we have a lot of interesting subjects to touch on this evening. And I got about seven articles in front of me. I want to scan the headlines, but also I'm curious to find out what you guys are keeping an eye on. So definitely in the chat, let me know what you're keeping an eye on, what's on your radar. And then also it's a talk show. So if I don't have anything to talk to, then it's not much of a talk. So when it's time to talk, 313-462-0027 is the number. Give me a call because I want to hear from you guys directly. And so I'll give it a minute. Hopefully YouTube notifies a few people, and then we'll dive right in. And then for those that might be new to the community, if you're bold enough and courageous enough, let us know where you're watching from via the chat. Just let us basically know where you're watching from. I would love to acknowledge your presence. And thank you for joining us this evening. And so let me jump right in and share some articles, share some headlines, share my 2 cents on top of it. Might even rant a little bit. And then also tomorrow night at 9:30 p.m. for the off-air Patreon hangout, I'm going to provide you guys an opportunity, if you're interested, to get a little rant off your chest in the Patreon. So definitely, if you guys are interested in joining us, I'll give you more information in a moment. So we got Mastodon. We got Brando Commando in the building. We got Vu Tran Tam the. Okay. A lot of things there. It says, I have heard people make under 75 may not pay tax in the future. I got some information on that. Stay tuned. We got Jojo Wave, King D, Road King 64, Solo, LBP in the building, Jesse B, JJ Day, Linux, Philman, Sam Smart in the house. Okay, it says Philman. Philman always starts off with a question. I like that. Says, question out to you grab some tacos today. It's Taco Tuesday. Unfortunately, I did not have tacos. I had pizza instead. But yeah, I never jumped on the Taco Tuesday situation. So, just never been me. Okay, we got Darrell in the building. How you doing, my man? We got a pothead. We got David Cozier, my favorite silver guy. Hey, Mike, how you doing, my man? Appreciate you. We got Political Atheist join us. Tequila Tuesday. Okay. Let me see. Okay, so let's dive right in, man. I got a couple articles. Bobcat Bren is from Toronto. How you doing? Appreciate you checking in. Okay, so what I want to do, basically, for those that are tuning in and you're looking forward to sharing whatever else you've been keeping your eye on, definitely hit that thumbs up button, show your support, and then also hopefully it helps the algorithms, and so it helps other people get notified. Because as I mentioned before, YouTube is just basically, they clowning me, so they're not notifying nobody. So that's why I have the email list. I try to get that out if I can, but we'll keep it moving. Anyway, News Junkie 3000 from New Jersey in the building. How you doing? Dead and Regret join us. We got David Buckner over on Facebook. Says, Magic Mike, do you think Detroit will have mandatory jabs? At some point, it's kind of baked into the cake as far as where they want this to go. And if it's not mandatory outright, they're going to make it so that every business and every outlet you would have to enjoy your life are going to require it in order for you to walk into their establishment or to get on their airplane or to stay in their hotel. And also there's, I think I've touched on it before, but there's everything is pretty much taking place first in Europe, and the European different nations are having different, responses to it. There's a lot of unrest in UK, France, Spain. They're still in the streets, I believe, but it's going to start off there and work its way here. But a lot of the businesses that do business internationally, they're all interconnected. So in order to travel to the east or vice versa, you're going to have that paperwork type of thing. So it's just a matter of time. But I think we all kind of know where this is heading and where they want this to go. So God, hopefully between now and then there's some type of disruption where we are able to, as we the people, to disrupt this plan. That's why I say is resist as much as you can, because if you don't resist now, you're going to regret it later, man. Okay, but great thought, and feel free to chime in your thoughts in the chat, and then let me get some articles. I almost stop this rant because I want to try to stay on pace this evening. So let me actually pull some things up on my screen here and do a little house cleaning, and then we'll dive right in, man. All right. So for those that are tuning in first time, perhaps rethinkingthedollar.com is the primary location where you can stay up to date. I have, of course, these RTD silver round limited editions there. And then also gold, silver, you name it, is shared on the blog throughout the day. And then if we have any newbies out there that might be new to the whole monetary literacy aspect, I'd encourage you to take the dollar quiz. basically get a chance to test your dollar IQ as to where you stand in the monetary journey of what we call a dollar. And surprisingly or not, those that are awake and aware do relatively well, 60 to 80% I see. But then there's those people who have no clue. They're the ones that's below 50. So the goal is to try to educate and inform so people can actually follow this 5-step process here. And at the end, you'll probably be in a better position because you'll have something physical and tangible that's yours. So I can go on a rant there, but I won't. But back to the Patreon. So tomorrow, 9:30 p.m. for those that are interested. If you become a member of the Patreon, you can join us off air where we have a little face-to-face. Everybody get a chance to rant and just share what's on their mind. And we talk things through and just, it's good to be amongst your own. And so if you're interested, consider becoming a member of the Patreon gang. Any of these amounts here will allow you to have access to it. And you can join us and just hang out a little bit. We go hour, 2 hours, just off air amongst, people that think like yourself. So anyway, and then also connect with us. Many different platforms here. If you go to the social media tab underneath, you have on YouTube, Patreon, Instagram, Telegram, you name it. Everywhere there's a social media platform, you can find Rethinking Dollar content. But the most important place is the Discord, where you yourself get a chance to contribute articles, videos, you name it, of your favorite content creators, as well as hang out with us during the daytime, because we're all usually passing through there at some point, sharing articles and just talking amongst ourselves. So feel free to do that if you're interested. Okay, let's keep it moving. So I want to start this one off with a little bit of a funny. And so here on the screen, somebody in the chat, and not the chat, in the Discord, you know who you are for putting it out there. I appreciate you for sharing that, because the day when I saw this, I just bust out laughing. And so here we got Anthony Fauci and Mel Gates mimicking the whole pretty woman scene. They call it the pretty Wuhan. So I found that extremely hilarious. So I thought I would start off with a little bit of a funny today. So something worthwhile. But to the point made earlier about the whole tax situation. So, of course, there's news floating around, and it stems from it was I'm not sure if it was leaked or if it was just a goof on Pretender-in-Chief Biden's part as to spilling the beans as to what could be down the line in regards to how the government's going to try to keep as much life as they can in this monetary system by basically removing the taxes off of those that probably are considered the middle class. However they swing that, I don't know, because it's going to be a lot of unhappy individuals on the higher end. But once again, those on the higher end don't pay taxes already, so it's not much of a loss on their part. But all the attention is being directed to those that make 400,000 and above. But that's going to come down in time. But it's all about trying to sustain this narrative of a recovery by any means necessary. So I just want to play for you guys something that if you might not have heard it or not, the little spiel that Biden gave the other day that kind of hinted at some information I'm going to share in a moment. So take a listen to this.
The reason I'm bothering to do this is I keep hearing on the press, Biden's going to raise your taxes. Anybody making less than $400,000 a year will not pay a single penny in taxes. Anybody making less than $400,000 a year will not pay a single penny in taxes. And we will not increase the deficit either, unlike the last gigantic tax cut, which increased the deficit by $2 trillion.
All right, so I'm going to stop right there because I got a rant. Okay, so whether or not that was intentional or not, who knows? But I'd imagine it's a part of the game plan. And so the fact that he said that no single person under 400,000 will pay a single penny in taxes, and of course they did a replay. He said it again, and then he said that it's not going to increase the deficit. So the question is exactly where will the funds come from to keep this recovery going? So it's going to have to come from Uncle Sam and issuing more debt, but it's not going to add to the deficit. Oh, how's that? So once again, none of that made sense whatsoever. But to the untrained eye, it sounds like, the government has this all under control. All along, they are lying straight through their teeth. And so, of course, we got some information about Yellen talking about the need to, be conscious of the budget deficit and keep it manageable. Also talking about the idea of maybe needing to raise rates at the same time. So how in the world can you raise rates when we already at zero and actually be able to pull off all the stuff they're trying to pull off? So it's not going to happen, but you guys know that. And so let's keep it moving. Okay, so here's another article here. And so once again, I grabbed most of these articles from the Discord, so I appreciate the people who put it there. And so here's just a little something from a speech from Yellen. It says, U.S. Treasury Secretary Yellen expected to be in low interest rate environment for some time. And so once again, the only way they can try to keep this thing going is to keep it low. But yet, the government, the interest rates on government debt has been trending negative anyway. So it's just a matter of time before they're forced to actually have to do something extremely dangerous. And I think that's going to eventually happen when the whole CBDC stuff rolls out, because once the banking sector is actually forced to probably take a little bit of the blow, they're going to eventually try to squeeze down to that zero or slightly below zero. And at that point, people are going to go to the bank and try to get their cash out because they're going to be taxed. Similar to the same thing that's happening in the EU right now. I had an article that I meant to share how in the EU, because in certain countries, a lot of the banks have already passed on the cost to depositors, where they started off with $200,000 deposit. It's $100,000 now. I think for some banks, anybody who has a deposit, you're paying to have your funds there. So people are going to take it out. What do? Take it out. You don't want to pay to have them basically gamble with your money. But anyway, here's some additional takeaways here. It says U.S. President Joe Biden overall program will make a difference to inequality. Okay. And she said, there's more to do around inequality than simply promoting education. It says marginal tax rates are much less powerful in influencing growth than many thought. Little evidence of the burst of investment after Trump's tax cuts, yada, yada, yada. So more spiel there. And then here is the primary subject matter I want to kind of just touch on briefly. It says American Rescue Plan could make 2021 tax bill zero for those making less than $75,000, according to some information that might be coming out soon. So it says, according to a recent report from Congress Joint Committee on Taxation, Americans who make between $75,000 and $100,000 a year will pay an average tax of just 1.8%. And so think about that. And so it sounds like this is already a plan that they have in place. And it's just a matter of, I guess, making it official once this phases of the American Rescue Plan situation is rolled out. But it says between $75,000 and $100,000 a year will pay an average tax rate of just 1.8. The taxpayers who earn less than $75,000 annually will pay no taxes on average. So exactly how will they subsidize all the expenditures of the government if they're not going to be collecting tax revenue? And the truth is, to this current moment, they're no longer collecting a substantial amount of revenue from taxpayers anyway, because tax receipts are down because a lot of the working class has been shifted. So a lot of people are not paying taxes overall in general. So that means that there's going to be a need for continuous stimulus to be passed. And so you got 1.9 here. You're going to have another 1 point something, 2 point something. So every year, every quarter, it's going to be 3 to 4 trillion type of bills that's going to be proposed that will be able to make this type of stuff possible, where they're not going to be getting anything from the people. But you got to wonder, what exactly will the capital gains tax situation be like, as well as the real estate taxes and stuff like that? They're going to really try to clamp down on. So they're going to make it very hard for business owners, which is going to unfortunately lead to a lot of people uprooting and leaving the country more than likely. And then if they get the global corporate tax rate of 28%, or I think it's global tax rate of 28%, they end up getting that, it's going to be nowhere to hide. So we will see. But of course, the Bezos, the Gates, they're still going to be doing fine. But it's just the people who actually have to work are the ones that's going to struggle. So, but anyway, keep it moving. It says, here's another one. This is very interesting. It says Biden sets a new goal: at least 70% of adults given at least one jab by July 4th. Now, it's amazing how this person is able to set goals that requires other people to get on board with that same agenda. And not even, of course, he's more than aware that a good portion of the population are not necessarily in line with what this agenda or this goal will be. So there's going to come a resistance, and that resistance point will be that time window that they're going to try to paint everybody who doesn't want to participate in this current goal he's setting as being the people that's keeping us from getting back to normal. We have a small section of the population, those Trump supporters, those people who love their country and love, having the right to free speech and having guns. They're the problem. And then they're going to start clamping down. And that's when things are going to get really ugly. And what I mean by ugly, I'm talking about the possible rolling out of, some type of mandates, or the pay to play. Like you won't be able to get, some stimulus checks and some airdrops of the CBDCs unless you can prove that you have participated, type of thing. So I'm curious to get your guys' thoughts on that. Okay, so let me pick this up a little bit. U.S. trade deficit surges to record shortfall with China keeps rising. So Uncle Sam borrows, the Federal Reserve prints. We, the people, the consumers, we buy off Amazon, all those cheap gadgets, sending it right to China. So it's cycling through. So China's getting richer. China's economy, they're in their manufacturing sector probably is recovering a lot faster because we're buying all those cheap gadgets. So the circle continues, and all along, we have a chance to utilize the remaining purchasing power of a Federal Reserve note for our good. So hopefully you guys are taking advantage of this current reserve status that we have, because we won't have it forever. And I was thinking today, especially watching a lot of the commentators and watching a lot of the big players out there and listening to what they're buying. And so a lot of people are heavy on uranium, a lot of the elements on the periodic table, as well as land and things that are real and tangible are what the big players are doing. So this is your window, people, in my opinion. Anyway, okay, keep it moving. Here's something. Why did Biden Census Bureau add 2.5 million more residents to blue states' population count? And so just something to chew on right there. It says 2.5 million blue state residents and subtracted more than 500,000 red state residents. So for whatever it's worth, take it and leave it. All the numbers are aligned. Everything, all this is just one big hocus pocus sham. So doesn't surprise me. Treasury Secretary Yellen says rates may have to rise somewhat to keep economy from overheating. Here's another one. Arkansas ends sales taxes on gold and silver. Additional states may soon follow. So it's good to say a lot of the Republican-led states will be removing any restrictions off of gold and silver and probably putting it more into the mainstream light for the citizens of the states to actually be able to get a hold of it while they can. And so it says, meanwhile, similar bills are still pending in Ohio, Maine, Tennessee, New Jersey, as national backlash against taxing constitutional money continues. So, more states will be getting their weights up. And then here's another one that you can't not hear about. Dogecoin surged 30% to a record above 50 cents as a speculative trading continues. In my personal opinion on Dogecoin, I'm curious to hear what you guys think. I would imagine that to continue the euphoria into the digital asset space, Dogecoin is not actually being pumped up by consumers directly, like, the young investor type people. I believe there's some central bank influence behind this. I think that a lot of the too big to fail banks and a lot of those other people are pumping this up so that they can continue to keep attention on a sector that they want to shine right now, because it keeps people's attention off the pain that's happening around them in other markets, especially after today's little bit of a dip in the equities market. So I think the central bank is behind this, and we'll see how high it goes. But on the other note, palladium is looking like a crypto. It's almost $3,000. So it's just shy of a complete all-time high, and is not getting much attention unless you're familiar with it. And so once again, palladium is doing extremely well. And the reason it's able to do so well is because it's not a market that is heavily controlled by all those paper products, i.e. the future contracts and stuff, where they can actually just decide to just dump 30,000 million shares out onto the open market, slamming the price down. So palladium, is showing what would happen in a real environment where true price discovery and all the currencies looking for places to land, what it might look like in commodities such as this. But of course, gold and silver took a major hit today. And so this is from Turd Ferguson, Mr. Craig Hemke. And so here's something worth listening. It says, this is as of today, it says over 1,700 COMEX silver contracts representing over 35,000 ounces dumped in about 3 minutes. So we went from $27 and some change down to $26.16 within 3 minutes. And so 35,000 ounces of paper was dumped. Somebody, one of the bullion depository banks, one of the bullion banks is sitting on all that paper, decided to just sell to lose. That, so like who would sell wanting to, really cut their own hand off and lose on their own stash But if it was physical, they wouldn't want to lose off of. But paper, sure, dump it. Why not? And so that's what I have, people. Okay, so that's enough of me ranting, man. I've ranted enough. Forgive me for ranting too much, but let me hear from you guys. Phone lines are open. Let's talk, and let's get it out there. And the thunder sound. Appreciate the love offer, my friend. It says Dogecoin is the GME of crypto. Palladium is what the Iron Man's chess. I like that, man. The GME of crypto. So that's interesting, man, because so the thunder sound, I'm curious, feel free to chime in more. So who's actually out there pumping like this? Do you think it's retail investors, or could there be some institutional / Elon Musk hype behind this? Or is there a chance that you got some central banks? And mind you, one central bank that comes to mind that we don't hear much about on this side of the globe is because it's just not a part of our typical financial narrative that we ever receive. But the Swiss bank, in Switzerland right now, Switzerland has become a very crypto-friendly country as a whole. And so they have their central bank, their national bank has already invested it into equities, into mortgage-backed securities. I mean, so Switzerland has been the first national bank that has been willing to venture outside of the traditional investment style opportunities to where they probably are involved in pumping up some of this crypto space. So don't sleep on the fact that you have central banks out here that are probably being told by Bank of International Settlements or the Federal Reserve directly as they could be literally funneling billions, how many ever millions of dollars through subsidies and as well as all types of other entities to then drive that currency right into the crypto market to pump things up. Because once again, once all the ships are rising, everybody feels richer, and everybody technically in nominal terms, according to what you can purchase now, you have a little bit more leeway to do some things. And so people are caught up in the euphoria of just now, hey, my bags are pumping. I'm doing good. I can do this, and have at it. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately what it's doing is it's the ultimate distraction that keeps our attention off of what's happening in the main economy, which is the fact our government now is so tapped out that they have to create new ways to keep themselves going, because once again, they're the bond markets now. They're not able to even get a substantial bid for government debt no more, because nobody wants it like that. So yeah, okay, let's keep it moving. All right, so feel free to call in. Phone lines are open, or let me know what you want to talk about in the chat, and we can make that work. And so let me check in via chat real quick and see what's going on. Omar Freeman. Okay, so I like that. Says, have you heard of the Kinesis coin backed by gold? I have heard of it, and me personally, I've chose to, over the last year especially, and I would encourage other people to use use a little bit of critical thinking, and the fact that as the economy continues to destabilize, the chance of you being able to receive any promises and anything that's labeled backed will probably become very hard. So be wary. Hello, caller. Which state we calling from?
Hey, Mike, how's it going? Brando Commando.
I'm doing good, my man. What's up with you?
Hey, so last weekend I went on a trip with the boys.
Okay.
And I had a chance to talk to a lot of these retards and feel what they're thinking.
Yeah.
So I kind of gave you some ideas. I wanted to reiterate some things for the community.
Yeah.
But the first thing I noticed was that we were out in the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania.
Uh-huh.
And in nowhere, Pennsylvania, nobody cares at all about COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody cares at all about COVID in North Pennsylvania,
mm-hmm.
which is odd because outside Philadelphia, everybody cares.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing that came to mind was that we need to be a little more cognizant of what we consider popular or trending
mm-hmm.
or mainstream.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, we follow the media and we're just lied to constantly about what is actually happening out there.
Right.
And from my experience, when you get out there, it's not at all like they tell you it is.
Yeah, I would agree. And that goes back to the fact that all the news outlets are bought and paid for, reading off a script, and it's all in unison. Every teleprompter around the country, every local news station, your 247s, they're all reading the same scripts. I'd imagine what I'm getting here in Detroit mimics exactly what you're getting in your local city as well. So we're all getting the same thing. And if you all get at the same time, you tend to think it's the truth because You remember that video from the other, like a couple years ago, where all the news anchors were put on the screen.
Yeah,
They're all saying the
right.
same thing.
Reiterate the same thing.
Exactly. You say it loud. You say it loud enough and long enough, people start to believe it. And that's just, that's how it goes, man.
Yeah, so I was talking to like 5 of my good friends,
Uh-huh.
and half of them don't know what money is,
Mm-hmm.
and the half of them think money is what they learned on the internet.
Yeah.
So we extrapolate that to like the state of the economy,
Mhm.
and half of them think that, oh, the stock market's booming, my 401k is amazing, oh, the V-shaped recovery, the economy is going to rebound.
Yeah.
But nobody's actually like digging into the dirt and finding out what's actually happening out there. So
Yeah.
I mean, I've my ear to the street,
Yeah.
and Gregory Manarino
Mhm.
said the manufacturing projections were off by like 400%, and it's just like data stat after data stat
Yeah.
aren't lining up with this miraculous recovery.
Yeah.
As you guys listen to Steve Van Meter,
Mhm.
he says the markets are topping out.
Yeah.
He has lots of data to show within this month or next month we're kind of peaking.
Mm.
But hey, back to the main point I tried to call about.
Yeah.
Was that since you can't trust what you're hearing, you can't trust the news,
Yeah.
you really have to find your center. That's
Yeah.
why your channel's special, Mike.
Yeah.
Because you have like a core message that's not about the money, it's about your relationship with your creator,
Yeah.
it's about your relationship with Jesus, and about like, are you going to be okay in the Great Reset aside from the finances?
Yeah. That's very true. Very true. Hey, man, I appreciate the kind thoughts and the love, man. Appreciate you for calling and sharing your thoughts, boss, man.
Yeah, guys. So, keep your head up and remain resilient and find your center.
Definitely.
Thanks for your work, Mike.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, see you guys. Take care.
Yeah. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, it's low blood pressure, Corpus Christi. How's it going, man?
LBP. I'm doing good, man. What's up with you?
Look, I got some predictions to make. I looked at my crystal ball,
Give it to us. What's going on?
Look, check this out. This is what's going to happen to this. It's a Sprott PSLV.
Mhm.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, yeah.
Look, the Canadian government is going to come in and they're going to take every ounce and send it to Queen Elizabeth shit, man. They're going to send every ounce to her. If you got money in that, they're going to give you loonies.
So, yeah, I saw you put that in the chat earlier. And I personally, because they're holding it at the Canadian Mint itself, if I'm not mistaken, as their primary custodian, I'm thinking like that's in the government hands. It's supposed to be in your vault or in your portion of the vault. But yeah, and that's the thing with, the person mentioned, the backed gold coins or whatever. I'm thinking like all promises are going to be broken. Like there will be no remaining contracts that will be valid because of in the clause of all those contracts are the force majeure aspects to where when we in trouble, we're not going to take the losses. We're going to just cancel it, or you're going to take the losses. Somebody's going to take the losses, but those contracts are not going to be lived up to. So I am in agreement with you as well, my friend.
They're going to take, look, if you got storage in the vault, go ask the manager of the vault. Are you going to fight the U.S. Army when they come in and take? Oh, you're not? Okay, then get your gold out of there. Don't be silly, people.
Yeah, man, that is the real deal. So, and that's why, and that's what's different about this current environment we're in now and where this could be going, because, it's a global event. So at this point, there is no safe place to go, and there's no deposit, there's no bullion spot that you can actually count on when things go haywire, because we don't know how bad it could get. And if it gets to the extreme, governments are going to collapse, and then rule of law will fail, and then, citizens will turn their backs on one another. And so it's like, yeah, it's just too much in between you and your metal, more than likely, that you're gonna have to rely upon it being mailed to you via UPS, United States Postal Service, or anybody else. Like, you think it's gonna get there? You know what I'm saying?
It might get there, but it might not be all of it. Look, and oh man, I just can't believe everybody's still jumping on this crypto bandwagon. What's up with these silly people, Mike?
Hey, it's a chosen asset class. It's placed here for this exact moment in time. That's all I can say, man.
The thing that gets me the most, this is my last point, is I know people that say NFT is a scam, that it's a nothing. That's exactly what Bitcoin is. It's a nothing. and they're on this bandwagon like, oh, well, there's a guy out there saying that data is the future. Without data, there's no internet. The internet was around way before that stupid coin. And that coin does nothing. It's not sharing bandwidth. There's bandwidth already. You could already do that with other programs.
Yeah.
You know, be careful, people. Don't listen to people that listen to mystics and comic book characters. Wake up.
Hey, man. Appreciate you for calling in, my man.
All right, Mike.
Be good.
Let me rant.
No problem. Yeah, good stuff, man. Good stuff. All right, give me a call, man. Phone lines are open. You know, I want to hear from some people. Feel free to call in. Thunder Sound says people are FOMOing into food and mean theme coins. Ripple just hired 43rd treasurer to the board, a person whose signature was on the $100 bill. Thunder Sound, facts. Look at him dropping it. Let me. I was going to actually, because Thunder Sound, make sure you join us on the Discord, man, so you can share, your 2 cents on issues, because that is some very important information. And so, speaking of which, let me go ahead and pull that up here, because I was looking at that earlier in the Discord page, but here we have it right here. It says Ripple appoints a former U.S. treasurer to its board amid legal fight with the SEC. And so just the fact that you have government officials jumping ship, and there's a lot, there's more than one. Like, I think Coinbase has a lot of, I think the head person of in the treasury, or I forgot, the comptroller, I'm not sure what position, but working for the government, comes from Coinbase. So they're working amongst themselves for a reason. And of course, Ripple obviously is in the plans. And so we'll see how it all rolls out. But yet, will the central bank digital currency be on the private Ripple protocol? It's a possibility. Will it be on some type of private network? It could be. And so as of now, it looks like if that's being set up for multiple chains, i.e. Thunder Sound, like you mentioned last night, I believe. And so this is something worth keeping an eye on, because they are definitely working behind the scenes. They're getting this thing ready for real. While all along, Dogecoin stole the attention for today in the spotlight. And then also, a coin that I kind of like, to see pump a little bit with Ethereum Classic, the original Ethereum chain. So that boy is almost touching $75 right now. And it was literally $4, a couple months ago. So I ain't mad at you. Let me see here. I saw a nice little comment there. It says, Nick says, Mike, your show is boring. Talk more about crypto. Nick, feel free to, hey, Nick, man, give me a call. 313-462-0027. Help enliven the chat a little bit. Feel free to do so. I'm game. Hello, Carlos. Where are you calling from?
Jay from Chicago. How you doing, Mike?
Jay from Chicago. I'm doing good, my friend. What's on your mind this evening?
I got a question for you. I don't know if you covered this before in a previous video, but I ran across a video today from the CDC announcing zombie preparedness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are these the people that we're really supposed to be following and listening to as far as the guidelines?
So once again, somebody in the community brought that to my attention a couple weeks ago, and it was quite, and as I always mention, we're living in an upside down world. So just the fact that that's even something that is a government official situation is spooky. So I got it on the screen right here, zombie preparedness, the actual link to the CDC website. But, it's always one of those things where I believe those that are orchestrating this event, it's kind of like their code to give people heads up as to what's coming, i.e. the whole UFO talk. If you haven't noticed, the Navy come out with some documentations, and they're pumping it up big time on mainstream news that the UFOs are here. I saw an article today saying that there's a UFO base underwater, in the ocean. So long story short, they're trying their best to divert our attention off many things instead of what we should be focused on, which is the crumbling of the economy and the complete tyranny from our government. And they're trying to promote fear. And then also, I'm of the mindset that within that jab program, linked in with some 5G and whatever else is out there, because that's programmable technology they putting in bodies out here. It wouldn't be too far-fetched for there to be a I Am Legend type moment out here. So I just keep that to myself, though. But yeah.
Also, well, the main thing, one of the best things that you have on your platform and on the screen right now is the pyramid.
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is the
Extra spearmint.
foundation.
Yeah.
You know, people are not paying attention to that.
Mm-hmm.
And the foundation of a house is the most important thing when you're building a house.
Right.
So
right.
That's it, man. Keep up the good work.
Appreciate you for calling, my man. Thanks for checking in with us.
All right.
Be good. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, give me a call, man. Phone lines are open. Once again, you know, feel free to chime in. Let me know where I'm wrong. You know, what other topics you guys want to touch on. It's a talk show, people. This is, I try to make this the people's talk show. This is a chance for you to share your expertise or whatever it is that you're keeping an eye on, because we're all in the same game, and it helps when we're all being encouraged as well as informed by multiple people. And then it's up to you to take it, digest it, chew it, see if it works for you, use it. If not, spit it out, keep moving. All right, so I see a lot of talk here. Let me see. Dr. Moda says TNA will soon be on sale cheap if you can lack gold, silver, or BTC. TNA. All right, what is that about? TNA. Mike, your show blows. I think that's a good thing. Are they conditioning us for something? Faith, are they conditioning for something? Yes, definitely they are. They're clearly everything is centered around fear. Not once has any of the public officials come out with any type of promising news other than their narrative of Biden the other day. Our economy's roaring back strong and all that, you know what I'm saying? We're heading in the right direction. You know, the programs out there, you can go within 5 miles of your house right now and get the jab if you want. And, you know, and the fact that, you know, Biden's putting the goals out there of trying to have 70% in arms by July 4th. Oh, okay. LB4, LB 2021. Okay, Mike, do you think that they are losing steam on the rollout? It seems that they are trying extra hard to convince people. Thanks. Appreciate the love offering. And I do believe that it's becoming harder for people to buy into it. And so to prove that, let me share something with you that I shared on my Twitter, because I came across this last night just strolling through the airways, and I came up with something. Let me give me 1 second here. Let me share some with you guys. So this is something I shared on the on the RTD Twitter, not Twitter, but RTD Instagram. And because I had no idea it was an event that's actually going down last night, but on Sunday night. But here is the actual, let me pull this on the screen here. Here is the actual, let me see here. So I'm going to reject this call just so I can get this thought out real quick and then give me a call back. But on Sunday night, there was a live performance, and it was called, hashtag Vaxx, VAXLIVE. And so Prince Harry, it was, one of the guest speakers. And of course, him and his wife now are, I guess they're Americans now all together. She's American, but they're both American couple. And they're trying to usher them as like being they remove themselves from the monarchy because of, whatever. Now they're trying to heal the world. So it's quoted him as saying, "I believe misinformation is a global humanitarian crisis." And this is coming out of his mouth. And look at the background. A global citizen. We're all a global citizen. So that's why we need to ban against misinformation, because it's a global humanitarian crisis. And I'm thinking, like, misinformation? So brainwashed, to your point, Faith, about, information. They are losing control of the narrative. So they have to up their game. So they got all the celebrities out here. I think Jennifer Lopez performed and a lot of other people I don't know. And it was an event that had people in the stands, and the only people who can attend were people who have already taken the jab. You know what I'm saying? So they were fully jabinated. So they could attend. So they had a little small crowd. But the fact that global humanitarian crisis is what they're labeling misinformation. And so I was basically thinking, like, wow, so that's going to be the next push this spring and summer, to get more people to create that sense of, like, it's your fault. You should feel guilty. And of course, when you go around, you see a lot of people with masks. If you don't have on one, people probably stare, yada, yada. But it is what it is. Like, I already feel uncomfortable, so I'm going to make you uncomfortable just because, I'm not participating like that. Anyway, so point in case is, we're going to have a big push against misinformation. And ultimately, what that stands for is they don't want any critical thinking. They don't want any human reasoning where you just take two different sides and you formulate your own opinion. It's either their opinion or it's misinformation. You see what I'm saying? So, unfortunately, critical thinking is a lost skill because people don't question, they just do. And so it's going to make people look bad because, you're going to be called out. So yeah, that's just my little 2 cents there. But anyway, phone lines. Brando Commando says T and A make it rain. Brando Commando, what is T and A? What does that mean? Let me know what that means. Okay, let me get these calls. All righty. Hello, caller. Which name are you calling from?
Hey, it's Emmanuel from Baldwin Park.
Emmanuel, what's going on, my friend? What's on your mind?
No, I heard this guy talking about the CDC and the zombie apocalypse, and I just want to throw something out there.
Yeah.
What would happen if there was like some kind of airborne rabies?
Airborne rabies.
Yeah, rabies.
Yeah.
The vaccines are like 10 grand sometimes. They're expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So like if there was a zombie apocalypse, I would imagine it'd be something more realistic where people would be foaming at the mouth, trying to fight each other, scratch each other, and it's transferable like that.
Yeah.
And then anybody who's not like outside before curfew gets shot automatically. Crazy shit like that.
That's what I would say. That's left field. That's definitely left field. But it's not impossible because anything is possible because we're witnessing some complete craziness now. So I never thought about that one. So hey, I ain't gonna say you wrong, but it's different. So
no, I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not predicting anything.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying.
I hope to God that never happens, but like if they're truly wanting to put people out there and prepared,
yeah,
I think I don't know, man.
Yeah. Hey.
But thank you for my call.
No problem. Thanks you, man, for taking us out there, taking us far. That was far left field. Thank you for doing that. I ain't did that in a while. Thanks, man.
Right, bye-bye.
Be good. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. So Solo, I like your comment, but no, like all seriousness, I didn't know TNA. Forgive me, because I'm thinking literal, is it like a coin? Like is it a coin I need to know about, or is it a project I need to know about? What is TNA? Yeah, so keep it moving. All right. Oh man, that's something else. Oh goodness. Hello, caller. Which name are you calling from?
Hey, Mike, this is Troy from Dallas. How's it going?
Sure, I'm doing good, my friend. What's going on with you?
Hey, I just wanted to follow up on the vaccine talk.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm not sure if I can say that word on here, but I saw the story recently about Mr. Gates basically having issues with the intellectual property aspect of the vaccine ending up in other countries and laboratories that they didn't certify. And what I've been kind of reading into, and just my thoughts on it, is that this whole mRNA vaccine it's not just for the what we're going through right now. It's actually a mechanism to heal and cure the body of all kind of diseases. At sort of like a switch control point. Yeah. And they're not comfortable with the rest of these other countries having that technology, because that would be, equivalent to, giving away your nuclear football. If you've got billions of people across the world and you can, hang, optimal health and the cure for whatever ailment they got, through some sort of a switch, but also you gotta, kind of, bargain with them like, hey, in order for us to give you this, you gotta promise or do certain measures to be a good citizen in our society. That's like the ultimate, key that ruler or leader or whatever, they're not trying to give anything like that up. So I think that's an interesting aspect, because it was all kumbaya, the whole world needs to come together, and then it's just like, no, we don't want you having our vaccine. We don't trust you. We think your place is dirty. We don't trust you. But it's really just like, we don't want to give you guys the intellectual property of this. China already got everything to build the iPhone and this whole generation. We can't let you steal the next generation of technology from us.
Now watch this. Let me throw a little curveball out there on that one, because that is definitely a possibility. And so I know that as of right now, Russia has their own version of a jab, and then China has one as well. And so between the America and the one or two that's being developed in Europe, I think AstraZeneca and biotech is a part of Germany or whatever. So, it appears to be that there's a race to see how many nations that they can support with their own versions of a jab. And if it's all mRNA based, it's programmable software type technology. And so it's just a matter of like, who has the control of it, I think. And so I think by, whatever countries you're referring to, there's probably, coming up on a technology without permission type of thing. It's going to boil down to whether or not the U.S. and Gates and all, and of course, Operation Warp Speed is probably the controlling center as to whether or not they'll have access to that particular software version to be able to cut it on or whatever and do whatever they want to do according to their own will and desire, as opposed to having China have access to that same line of code in the program to cut it on for their purposes type of thing. So I think it's a war over the body, type of thing, to where anyway it goes all evil. Just the fact that they're putting technology in the body to program your body to do this and that, and then the fact I heard about, by the mRNA mixing with your RNA and ultimately moving into your DNA, it basically recharacterizes the entire entity to where you're no longer a product itself, i.e. genetically modified yourself. So it's like, okay, who controls that?
Send your information in to get a genetic test.
Mm-hmm.
So they're saying, people want to find out, I'm 1% this and that, and all that stuff. Those percentages are going to change by more people that send their data in. But once you send it in, it becomes a part of their data set.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I mentioned it to you on one of the previous calls, but the CEO of Google is married to the CEO of 23andMe. So that marriage in itself represents a wealth of intellectual property from genetics to social media. And, if their children want to inherit all that IP, that's going to be a crazy world. But talking to you, another thing just kind of dawned on me, because I watch a lot of, I don't know, basically everything is wrapped up in this Marvel Captain America series.
Yeah.
And I just got finished watching this Falcon and Winter Soldier. And basically what Spirit led me to think in our conversation, just to go out there, I'll just say it.
Yeah.
The whole fixation on the super soldier and the serum in that show, it kind of makes me think that are all these countries racing to, have like a super serum control over all their citizens.
Yeah.
And like, they're trying to fight over, okay, these are our citizens, they got our serum, they're under our control, they're all our winter soldiers. And it's like, is every country trying to turn all of their citizens into their own, controllable winter soldiers to lesser or more of a degree?
That sounds about right. Like some mad scientist type of stuff, because ultimately, this is where to me, it all boils down to the essence of everything. It's a spiritual warfare. It's the kingdom of darkness versus the kingdom of light, and the warfare happens to be over humanity. And so we, the people, we're the enemy, we're the hated ones. So literally enslavement of humanity with the depopulation agenda and everything like that it starts at the Prince of Darkness himself, the fallen one. And so I think that's what it all boils down to, because all these entities, they're all linked into that dark occult, satanic, that dark stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's the epitome of Satan's trying to do what he feel he thinks is best for him and his kingdom, but for those in Christ, we on the winning side. But anyway, I'm gonna keep it at that. But hey, man, appreciate you. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for calling and sharing your insights.
All right.
Be good. Yep. Yeah, man. Okay, so good stuff. Get ready to wind back. And so what I want to do is actually share with you something I had on the screen here. So this is something I put up on my Twitter page, and it's from the Wake Up From, as you guys can see, the title here. And I was starting to listen to this rather, but this gentleman here is dropping some nuggets. So I put it on a Twitter account. So if you're interested, actually, let me see if I can copy this, and I'll put it in the, let me see if I can tag it. So I'll put this copy. I'll put it in the, so if you guys are interested, you can go yourselves and get the full rant or whatnot. But, do with it what you may. Okay. So with that being the case, I had one more call I wanted to get, but let me see. I'll give it a second. But other than that, people, it has been great hanging out as always. And if you want to hang out tomorrow, if you feel free to do so, become a member of the Patreon gang, and you can hang out with us off air and join me face to face and get your rant out and just have a little bit of a laid back conversation for those that are interested in the Patreon side of things. So consider becoming a member and supporter, and you can join us. Hello, caller. Which name are we calling from?
This
Will from Detroit.
Will from Detroit. What's going on, my man? What's up? What's up with you?
Yeah, I was calling. Y'all people need to take this COVID more seriously because I called it.
Okay.
I wanted to do a video. You know how you do that face-to-video? Because I was at Beaumont. You know where Beaumont,
Yes, sir.
Farmington Hills at.
Yep.
And I wanted to do a face-to-face video where I was up in the hospital. But my roommate, he go to sleep early. So I just, I couldn't do that. But, yeah, I was walking around with pneumonia, couldn't breathe, and went up in there, and then the lady told me you had COVID. What made me rush to the hospital is because I was calling my partner who I ride every day with, and they was like, he's up in the hospital on a ventilator. That made me rush to the hospital. Damn, I done caught this.
Yeah. So it looks like you overcame some things and you're doing better now. Sounds like.
Yeah, I'm at home now. So
Yeah.
I was just saying, I'm gonna go ahead and get that jab because I trusted them with that needle while I was in the hospital. Because you got to stay there 5 days because they give you the steroids and that other stuff through your IV. So I was trusting that needle in.
Yeah.
That needle got me out of that hospital. So I take it seriously because, I was like, oh, COVID is overrated. Till you catch it, you're going to be singing another tune. So I'll let you go.
Hey, man, I appreciate you. And also in regards to, participating in the overall agenda, I just ask that you be open-minded and do a little external research and be willing to go out there and to consider, the other alternative as to what's really going on. You know what I'm saying? Even though the people are catching it, people are dying, but yet also there's a greater agenda than just, trying to protect you and save you and your family and friends by you participating with that jab. So, just a little heads up, of being open-minded to something else.
I want to say one more thing.
Yeah.
I've been to the hospital many times, with people and stuff.
Yeah.
And every time I've ever been to a hospital, when they were staying the night, they got the room that same night. I had to wait 2 days because the floor was jam-packed with COVID people.
Yeah.
I had to wait 2 days to get a room. And they section you off, and you got to go on a special floor.
Yeah.
When I'm going up in there, I'm seeing people on ventilators. Man, this is scary fit.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right,
hey, man. Appreciate you, Will. Thanks for calling, my man.
Okay, thank
Be good. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Fellow Detroiter in the building. Appreciate him. So anyway, let's keep it moving, man. And so what that be the case about the dial back, as I mentioned, because I can go on forever, but I'm not. So anyway, if you guys have enjoyed the opportunity to hang out and to share your thoughts and insights, hit that thumbs up button, show your support. And then also for all the information I share, there's all the links are beneath if you guys are interested. And then for those that are wanting to hang out off air, consider doing so, as I mentioned, via Patreon, and we can go from there. But anyway, let me leave you guys on a more of a informative note. And so I want to continue to remind people of this. If you go to USTreasury.gov, type in Resource Center, look for the frequently asked questions. You scroll down to the section where it talks about what are Federal Reserve notes and how are they different from the United States notes. You read the bottom. It says the Federal Reserve notes are not redeemable in gold, silver, or any other commodity and receive no backing by anything. This has been the case since 1933. The notes have no value for themselves, but for what they can buy. So other than just no value other than what you can go buy when you need to buy it. It says in another sense, because they are legal tender, Federal Reserve notes are backed by all the goods and services in the economy. So ultimately what that means is the paper notes and the digital versions of them, they're only good for tangible assets and according to the time that you look to get rid of them and what you can purchase at that moment. So once again, a $100 bill right now can get you maybe one or two items. 20 years ago, $100 bill could get you multiple items. Think about this. 2 years from now, 5 years from now, what will a $100 bill be able to get you? Probably not much. Anyway, so just so you guys know. Anyway, so be good, be safe, be blessed. I'll see you guys later. And other than that, people, I enjoyed hanging out with you. Peace.